So I've reached this bit of the dike and you can see there's a big willow that's grown into it. And when you're chopping into willow, I always find that sometimes it's better to find like the root of the branch and chop that off, because there's that many branches that come off one. If I was fencing, I'd use some of this. I'd chop the oslers off and re-stick them in the ground, and yeah, within a year they'd be rooting. But I'm not, and it'll all go to waste this, but there's that much willow around this field that when I need some I can just chop some. So let's go. So I've cleared the willow. I've had a good session with the golok, which actually is a lot better than I remember. Full marks for Martindale for sending them out really sharp. I mean, the ones I used to get issued in the army, when you got them you couldn't even spread butter with them, they was that blunt. I think that was half the problem, that gave them a bit of a bad rep. But yeah, that's made short work of most things. Up to sort of finger width anyway, and you know, without little sort of double chopping. It's first, if you use that heavy part of the blade, sort of like the last third, you're really going to get through stuff. So you can see just behind me, look, that's the ditch, and you can see I'm sort of in the same position as I was before, but you can see now I'm actually going to walk down the bits which I've cleared. I'll just turn the camera around. It might be a little bit easier, a bit safer. So that's where, now I've cleared out, you can actually see water look all the way to about here, and I presume that's when whoever had this land about 20-30 years ago, that's when they stopped digging the ditches out, because you can actually see now I've cleared it. I don't know if you can make out on the camera, but the ditches is here. If you look round to the left, you can see it's actually quite far down a bit, and you can see the amount of water that's already in it. So I'm just waving at my neighbour there. But this is what I want to do, is I want to reconnect this ditch with that ditch. You can see the water there, and you can see the water here. So I might try and do it by hand. To do it properly, it's a mini digger job, which will be a job for probably a couple of months when things dry out a little bit. But it'd be nice to split lock the ground and see if it'll flow and drain that little bit of stagnant station water there. It's just that I don't know, well, I do know where this goes. It goes into that bunch of willow down there, and then it goes into the ditch which is next to my field boundary, but I think it'll make it really boggy. But we're going to do it anyway. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything because it's just like marsh ground anyway. And now for the next trick, got a mattock, got the golok if I need it, got an old spade, and I've got a really old rake, forked rake. As you can see, it's seen some action. It's lost a few fingers, and it's got a few modifications. It's like Trigger's broom, although nothing's been replaced on it. But you know what? It's good for. Hang on a minute. She's got that on her back now. Look, what's she doing? Yeah, it's good for doing out the ditches. That's what I keep it for. So I've done the first run of holes, as you can see. It's not that straight. It's not straight at all, is it? But hey, it'll do until we get the digger in it. It's probably about as straight as one of Scotland's lineouts in the Six Nations, but that's a different story. Yeah, so you can see water's now backfilling these little holes. So you can see, you know, it dries out a little bit here, but that's higher, and then it starts getting wet again around here, and you can see already, since I've cleared the dike back, how much it's showing water. So far so good. So the next thing is to get Luna digging it with her paws and generally making a mess. Don't think you're coming in the house later, Luna. Sorry, it's Mabel. It's the other one. It's the young one. It's the mattock now, clearing the roots, and then I'll start putting a fall on it and hopefully draining that bit. So as you can see, I've reached a bit of a false level here. It looks like it's going down, but actually it's up here, it's raised, so I've got to lower this a little bit and hopefully there'll be enough fall. That way, Mabel. There it is. Mabel's just helping with her type of digging and getting as muddy as possible. You see, that's it, the water's draining now. It's just meeting up with the dike. The fall isn't that good, but you know what? It's better than it was. At least there's a dike draining now, which is the main thing. That'll be good enough until we get plant on it. So one of the problems when you're draining ditches is obviously getting the fall, and I don't want to dig too deep down there because the actual main ditch on the other side of the road isn't that deep, so you don't want it pooling. So what I've done, so now I've got a bit of a drain on it, I put this little stick, this bit of hawthorn. As you can see, there's a thorn literally at the surface now, and I'll leave it a couple of hours and see how far it's drained, if any. Now to tackle the original ditch, and that was dug, well, redug by us about 3 years ago, and it's not even flowing now, it's just backed up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the golok to chop the marshweed out, and then I'll just try and rake the silt out of it and see if it's flowing. Ideally, to get through this little culvert down here, which is just a little bit of drainage pipe through underneath the soil. And obviously then downstream I've got to do, but I need to go get a drink because I'm parched. See, the dogs are still enjoying it. You see Mabel out there. Good girl. And then I've got the old dog, Luna, actually sunbathing now. Look, you can see her down there. Look, she's going to trot over and see us. Luna. There she comes. Now, one of the things with the golok machete, when it came, it comes with that file, and I noticed that it's, you know, it's a really high carbon content file, as most metal files are. But a lot of people don't realise this, but you know, to strike flint to get spark, you've got to hit it with high carbon steel. And I just had a go, and it just works. So the file, if you find a bit of flint, which I found in the field today, you'll get a spark if you strike it. Try and get it on camera. So I'm just finishing for the day. It's 3:30. So we've got partial success. We have, if you remember, the thorn in the stick. It's probably about 2 to 3 inches lower. You can see that there. It's flowing to the north very slowly. I think I'll need to dig that out a little bit more. It's found its level a little bit, although the dike is filling up, so there's obviously, it might be draining underground. And then the original bit, well, that's flowing a lot better than I thought. You can actually see the water rippling past, so that it's like a stream effect. And yeah, well, that was the aim of the day. Clearly it's not like a finished product. I don't think ditches ever are, but it might help the water that's backlogged up into the field already. You might just be able to see the water behind me draining, so that's a good thing. As for the field, yeah, this is sort of like the best time of the day really. This sort of first thing in the morning when the sun's low. You really get the effect of the trees around. Sort of almost want to sit back and have a beer, but it is January and I'm meant to be doing dry January, whatever that means. And yeah, and then right at the end where it feeds into the main ditch, as you can see, it's so we'll see what it's like in the morning, see off the marker how much water is actually drained out. But 2 to 3 inches already, that's not bad. I wouldn't have thought. At least it's going. If you look down there, you can see it all going into the main ditch. Incidentally, if you're looking what this is, well, that's a hopper, as you can see, and it's feeding off a spring hose pipe up on the top end of the field, which is actually within our boundaries, so that's good. But my neighbour kindly put a hose to it, and it's ideal because Sarah can fill her horse's water up there. It's spring fed. But that's a different story, and that's for another episode. See ya.